They say dogs are man's best friend, but my French Bulldog became my guardian angel. I never imagined this little bundle of joy, with his oversized ears and playful snorts, would one day save my life. It wasn't a dramatic rescue from fire or flood. It was something far deeper. In my darkest moments, when anxiety and loneliness crept in like shadows, he was there. His love, loyalty, and instincts pulled me back from the edge. What started as companionship turned into a life-saving bond. This is more than a pet story. It's about how one small dog changed everything. We often hear stories about how dogs protect us in physical danger, but the bond I share with my French Bulldog goes beyond just physical protection. Let me take you on a journey of how a small, lovable, and playful companion transformed my life in ways I never could have imagined. My French Bulldog didn't save me in the way you might think. There were no dramatic rescues from fires or accidents. But in my moments of deep anxiety and emotional struggle, he was my lifeline. His loyalty and presence were what I needed most when I didn't even realize it myself. It's not just about the love and companionship pets bring. It's about how they become an anchor when everything else feels uncertain. For me, my French Bulldog became that anchor. He reminded me of the simple joys of life, helped me face my darkest days, and in many ways gave me a reason to keep going. In a world where we're often consumed by stress and isolation, my French Bulldog brought me back to the present moment, filling it with warmth, comfort, and unwavering support. The love of an animal is truly a gift, and in my case, it's the reason I'm standing here today sharing this story with you. When we think of rescue, we usually picture a heroic act where someone or something physically saves us from harm. However, in the case of my French Bulldog, the rescue was emotional, not physical. In my darkest moments, when feelings of anxiety, loneliness, and overwhelm began to take over, my French Bulldog became a source of stability and comfort. He didn't necessarily do anything dramatic. It wasn't about him intervening in a dangerous situation. Instead, it was his constant presence, the simple act of him sitting by my side, and his unconditional affection that had the power to calm my racing thoughts. Sometimes, when I felt like I couldn't go on, his companionship was enough to pull me back from the edge. It's often said that dogs have an uncanny ability to sense when their owners are struggling, and my dog was no exception. His love acted like a lifeline that kept me grounded in the present, preventing my mind from spiraling into worse places. This emotional rescue was just as vital, if not more so, than any physical rescue, because in those moments I needed healing for my mind and soul, not just my body. My French Bulldog gave me that healing through his empathy, support, and a bond that transcends words. The bond I share with my French Bulldog goes beyond just a typical pet-owner relationship. It's a deep, emotional connection that's built on trust, love, and mutual understanding. When you adopt a pet, you're not just bringing an animal into your home. You're forming a relationship that's often based on unconditional love and companionship. This bond becomes especially powerful when the animal becomes a vital part of your emotional and mental well-being, as it did for me. My French Bulldog wasn't just a pet. He was a confidant, a companion, and, in many ways, my protector. Every time I was feeling down or overwhelmed, his presence was enough to soothe my soul. His bright, eager eyes and his playful antics were an instant reminder that there was joy in the world, even when it felt like everything else was falling apart. He knew when I needed to be cheered up and when I just needed someone to quietly sit with me. He offered his presence as a form of silent support, something that was more comforting than words could ever be. What makes this bond even more special is that pets, especially dogs, have an incredible ability to sense their owner's emotions. Without me saying a word, my French Bulldog could tell when I was struggling. His behavior would change in those moments. He would stay closer, nudge me gently with his nose, or even lay his head on my lap. It wasn't something he was trained to do. It was simply instinctual. He knew what I needed without me having to explain it, and that understanding formed a connection that went deeper than any friendship I've ever had. This bond between a pet and their owner is unique because it's based entirely on mutual affection and trust. My French Bulldog trusted me to care for him, and in return, he gave me his unwavering loyalty and companionship. In moments when I felt like no one else understood, he was always there, offering comfort and a listening ear. even though he couldn't speak. This pure, non-judgmental support made all the difference in my life, helping me get through even the toughest times. In life, it's easy to get caught up in the daily grind, stress, and overwhelming emotions that cloud our perspective. It's not uncommon to feel disconnected, especially when life throws challenges our way. In my experience, my French Bulldog helped me rediscover the simple joys of life and reconnect with the world around me in ways I never anticipated. The act of taking care of him, the responsibility of feeding him, walking him, and playing with him brought structure and routine to my days. In times when I felt aimless or bogged down by my thoughts, caring for my dog gave me something concrete to focus on. It wasn't just about fulfilling his needs, it was about the purpose and sense of fulfillment I found in it. There was something so grounding about knowing that he depended on me, and in turn, he kept me connected to the present moment. I couldn't let myself get lost in my anxieties or overthinking because I had to be there for him. But beyond the responsibilities, it was the joy that he brought into my life that helped me reconnect with happiness. Watching him run around joyfully, his tail wagging with excitement over the simplest things, reminded me of the beauty in small moments, his unbridled enthusiasm for life, his carefree attitude, and the way he would greet me with unconditional love every time I walked through the door reminded me that life wasn't all about the struggles and setbacks. The more time I spent with him, the more I realized how easy it is to find happiness in the present. My French Bulldog didn't need anything grand or complicated to be happy. All he needed was a little love, attention, and a walk outside. His ability to find joy in the simplest things, like a squeaky toy or a sunny spot on the floor, helped me shift my mindset. It helped me rediscover a sense of wonder in the little moments of life, something that I had lost during difficult times. Furthermore, his presence made me realize that I didn't have to be perfect or have everything figured out to experience joy. I didn't need to wait for all the pieces of my life to fall into place before I could feel fulfilled. My French Bulldog taught me that happiness isn't always about the big achievements or the grand milestones. It's often about appreciating the little things, staying present, and finding contentment in simple, everyday moments. In a world that often demands more, he reminded me that sometimes the best way to reconnect with life is to slow down and appreciate what's already around us. Through his eyes, I learned to embrace each day with a sense of gratitude, perspective, and calmness that I hadn't known before. This reconnection with life not only brought joy back into my world, but also brought clarity, reminding me that happiness isn't found in perfection, but in the genuine moments of connection and simplicity. In times of emotional distress, it's easy to feel isolated, as if the weight of the world is too much to carry on your own. However, in my experience, my French Bulldog proved to be much more than a pet. He became a lifeline, someone, or rather something, that helped me navigate through the toughest parts of my life. Pets, especially dogs, have an innate ability to sense their owner's emotions. They can often tell when you're happy, sad, anxious, or stressed. This ability is not based on verbal communication, but rather on their strong intuition and sensitivity to body language, tone of voice, and even the energy you project. My French Bulldog always seemed to know when I was struggling emotionally, and he would adjust his behavior accordingly. When I felt overwhelmed, he would quietly sit by my side, his body language offering comfort and support. His presence alone was enough to help reduce the intensity of my emotions and make me feel less alone. The reason why pets, and dogs in particular, can serve as emotional lifelines is their unconditional love and loyalty. They don't judge, they don't question your actions or feelings, and they don't hold grudges. This level of acceptance can be incredibly healing, especially during times when we feel misunderstood or disconnected from others. For someone like me, who sometimes struggle with anxiety and loneliness, my dog was a constant source of solace. His presence offered a sense of security and comfort that allowed me to face my challenges head-on. Moreover, pets like my French Bulldog have a remarkable ability to provide emotional stability. On days when everything felt uncertain, he was always there, reliable, calm, and full of affection. It's as if he understood that I needed something steady and grounding. During moments when I found it hard to get out of bed or felt disconnected from everything around me, he provided me with the motivation to keep moving forward. Whether it was a walk outside or simply his need for attention, he gave me a reason to step away from my worries and focus on something positive. This kind of emotional support can be life-changing. When we're going through tough times, the smallest gestures, like a comforting cuddle, a wagging tail, or a joyful greeting, can help us feel loved and valued. For me, these little moments with my French Bulldog became lifelines, pulling me out of my emotional lows and reminding me that there is always something worth living for. In this way, pets are not just animals we care for. They can become essential parts of our mental and emotional well-being, helping us through times when we need it most. Ultimately, my French Bulldog proved to be a lifeline in the truest sense. His loyalty, companionship, and emotional sensitivity not only made my life richer but also made it possible for me to survive and thrive during the hardest moments of my journey. In the end, my French Bulldog wasn't just a pet. He was a life-changing presence, a constant source of comfort, and the emotional anchor I never knew I needed. His love went beyond the traditional boundaries of a pet-owner relationship. It became a lifeline that helped me through some of the darkest times in my life. It's amazing how such a small, seemingly simple companion can have such a profound impact on our mental and emotional well-being. Through his loyalty, understanding, and unwavering affection, my French Bulldog taught me the true meaning of unconditional love and how powerful the bond between a pet and their owner can be. He not only saved my life in ways I never expected, but he also helped me rediscover the joy in life, one wag of his tail at a time. So, to anyone who doubts the profound connection between humans and their pets, I say this sometimes: the most unexpected heroes come in the form of 4 paws and a wagging tail. My French Bulldog not only gave me a reason to live, but he also reminded me that love, pure, simple love, can be a life-saving force.